Hi and welcome to The Winning Factor. I'm Alan Aitken, and on this show each week we take a look at some upcoming races in Hong Kong and try to isolate an angle to the race that looks a path to finding the winner. Well, Saturday racing this week ahead of Tuesday's big public holiday meeting, and the first race we're going to take a look at on Saturday is race 7, where our winning factor is the weights. Now, this is a Class 3, 1200 metres. It isn't a big field and the chances appear very limited. To unbeaten bottom up together, returning for his 4-year-old season, Super Fortune, who won in good style in Class 4 first up, and the knockout horse Go Win, not long with Douglas White, and talented on his day. But I want to focus most on bottom up together and Super Fortune. So bottom up together, as a 3-year-old, won 3 out of 3. He's a horse that some people are certainly looking at as a contender for this season's 4-year-old series. And with Zac Purton aboard first up on Saturday, I'm sure he's going to be the favourite, and this is why. This is race 791 last season. He's in gate 1 with green and yellow colours, and bottom up together is very quickly away, and Zac Purton has no hesitation in taking the odds-on favourite to the front and dominating the race. Now, as you see on the heat map, the pace is never especially quick, but also never really slow. It's consistent and quite good, and his rivals do get their chance to beat him. But when they turn for home, he sprints quickly and leaves them all behind at the 300 metres. So Purton sits up on the line there, and that's a comprehensive victory of a horse going places. And as a result, he has been hoisted right up to the top of the handicap in Class 3 now. His main rival here, Super Fortune, well, he can carry weight too, as he showed in a lesser class when he resumed for the season. This is race 9. He's in gate 7, bright green colours. Super Fortune is quickly out and straight to his usual place in the lead for Matthew Poon. Now, this is a race I've earmarked as a very strong form race. There's no slowing of the pace. Instead, it actually gets faster on the heat map as the race goes along. Certainly, Super Fortune had gone fast enough to give his chasers every chance to run him down, but try as they might, Harold Wynn and Geneva weren't unable to get to him. Now, that capability Super Fortune has to run along at a good consistent speed and never really give his pursuers a chance to breathe and relax has always been his ace card, and it's the most intriguing part of this race. When we look at the map, there are a few speed runners, and even from the outside gates, I think bottom up together and Super Fortune are the very likely leaders. Super Fortune, as I said, habitually the leader in his races, and I'm sure that will be the plan for Matthew Poon. But will this pair engage in the lead? If they do get into a competition, they'll be helping out Go Win, who'll be sitting back off them and ready to finish over the top. And bearing in mind that bottom up together has the top weight and 18 pounds more in the saddle than Super Fortune and 14 pounds more than Go, I think Zac Purton's going to be very wary of getting into the situation where the race turns into a war of attrition, as that really is not in his favour. Super Fortune, therefore, may even get clear in the lead. So the tip from me in race 7, Super Fortune. His winning factor, the weights. Now, as I said, bottom up together is the horse of real promise in this race. He's relatively unexposed, he's unbeaten, and he's a horse going to places where Super Fortune is never going to go. But he is vulnerable first up, and with the big weight swing, I think that race-fit Super Fortune is going to give him the most to do. The other race I want to take a look at is race 8, where our winning factor is the form race. Now, this is in Class 4, 1200 metres, and there may be cases made here for the likes of King Oberon, Blazing Wind, Glorious Expert, and the unraced Everyone's Classic, who shows ability, but the favourite will be Harold Wynn. Now, the unknown quantity in this race is the unraced Everyone's Classic, Zac Purton's mount, who's had a winning trial in Brisbane before coming to Hong Kong and has had 5 trials here, 3 last season and 2 very recently, and hasn't really been asked to show what he's made of in those 5 Hong Kong trials. we're going to have a look at the most recent of those. This is on September 17, and he's in gate 2, purple with yellow armbands. Wasn't the fastest away, but does have some tactical pace here to move easily into the first 4, trailing the speed. And he stays there most of the trial before we turn into the home straight. And, well, there's really not a lot to see here because Purton just sits on him, never asks the horse to do much at all, and allows him to drift out of the finish. Now, Purton certainly thought enough of that trial to stick with him on race day, and I think that's got to be some kind of a pointer. But for me, race form always trumps trial form, and the horse with all the race form here is Harold Wynn. He's had 5 starts without winning, but he's run a second, 2 thirds, 2 fourths. He's never run a bad race. Now, some people might say that looks like a lack of application, but I think he's been in some pretty decent races in those outings, and particularly his latest run when resuming for this season showed that he has well above average ability. Now, obviously, this is a race we've already seen earlier, race 9 of this season, and in gate 12, carrying blue with purple sleeves, Harold Wynn has some work to do from the outside gate to cross over with Super Fortune before dropping in behind him. Now, as we've noted previously with this race, despite a good pace throughout, there's still a strong last 400 metre sprint down the straight. Harold Wynn gets his chance, but Super Fortune is able to hold him off narrowly. And a distant 4th there was Mastermind, a winner last week at his next appearance at the racecourse. So this is the kind of race we often refer to as a strong form race, and one of the things that distinguishes a strong form race is those good times throughout the race, no loitering at any point, and also a spread of margins. And we saw the first 3 in that race come right away from the rest of the field. So even though that race and the race on Saturday are both called Class 4s, I think that was a much stronger than average Class 4, and Saturday's race is even a drop in grade for Harold Wynn. When we go to the map of the race, the pace looks sound, particularly with the likely front runner Awesome Treasure drawn in the outside gate and looking to cross over. It won't be a simple task for him, as there are a few with good speed under him, including Harold Wynn, who I expect will be ridden positively again, seeking to tag the leader as he did in that video replay we saw. And although it's too early in the season to be wheeling out statistics like conversion rates, that is, trainers who excel with horses that have run 2nd, 3rd, 4th and turning them into winners, that is an area where Harold Wynn's trainer Francis Loy has been one of our top performers in recent years. So he's got that going for him as well. So the tip from me in race 8 is Harold Wynn. His winning factor, the form race. I think that race won by Super Fortune last time will turn out to be an exceptional form race. We've already seen the 4th horse win, and I think Harold Wynn can make that 2 when he appears on Saturday and breaks through with his maiden victory. Well, that's it from the winning factor this week. Enjoy Saturday's racing. We'll see you next time.